So you've probably noticed OnePlus took some inspiration from the iPad for their new Android tablet, the new OnePlus Pad. So today I thought we would do a direct comparison against the iPad Air 5 to see how it compares. So let's go ahead and get started. Pricing on these two tablets are going to be somewhat comparable. The OnePlus Pad starts at $480 versus about $599 for the iPad Air, but you can find it cheaper since that one's been out for a while. My OnePlus Pad included the keyboard case, which is actually pretty nice if you haven't tried it yet, and the OnePlus Pad doubles the storage of the base iPad Air at 128 gigabytes versus only 64 for the iPad. Now when it comes to the screens, the iPad comes with a 10.9-inch IPS LCD display with 2360 by 1640 resolution. The OnePlus Pad has an 11.61-inch IPS LCD display with 2000 by 2800 resolution. When you see these next to each other, you will notice the OnePlus Pad is shaped a little more like the iPad versus the more typical widescreen style that you see on most Android tablets. The screen brightness is going to be very close between these two and sort of a toss-up on which one looks better in person. The colors on the OnePlus Pad look a little more bluish compared to the iPad, but you can't go wrong with either one in my opinion. You'll even notice the power and volume buttons are in the same location on the OnePlus Pad as the iPad Air 5. When it comes to battery life, the OnePlus Pad is the clear winner here. The OnePlus lasted about 8 hours at 100% screen brightness before it finally died versus only 5.5 hours for the iPad Air 5 in the same test. Just keep in mind, my testing is a little more extreme usage, so you can get quite a bit better battery life just by turning down the screen brightness. But if you want the tablet with better battery life, you'll want to go with the OnePlus Pad. Now one big advantage for the OnePlus Pad, it's got 65 watt fast charging versus only 20 watts for the iPad. And then one advantage for the iPad, you get the fingerprint scanner or Touch ID right there on the power button, where you don't get a fingerprint scanner on the OnePlus Pad. Now as far as software goes, the OnePlus Pad is currently on Android 13, the iPad is on iPadOS 16.5, and yeah, things are going to be a little bit different here between the two, even though OnePlus does have what looks like a dock down at the bottom, which does make it look a little more similar to the iPad. But then you have differences like the notification shade. On the OnePlus Pad, you've got the shortcuts over there on the side or edge, and many other small things are a little bit different between the two. You're also going to have Google Discovered Newsfeed left of the home screen on the OnePlus Pad. You have several widgets you can add or subtract left of the home screen for the iPad. I know some people out there are gonna like the software on iPads over Android, but I'm not one of those people. I tend to like things about both. Nice thing is the iPad is gonna work with the 2nd gen Apple Pencil, and that's gonna charge on the side. And you'll notice OnePlus has a stylo that actually looks very similar. Even has the same kind of hard tip where you can hear it when you're tapping on the glass. It also charges on the side, just a little bit off center, but again, very similar to the iPad. The stylo might not be quite as good as the Samsung S Pen, but it does allow you to use it within the software more than what you can do using the Apple Pencil on the iPad. Overall, I feel like both are good options regardless of which one you go with. And then as far as accessories go, you are going to have a lot more options for the iPad Air, but I've got to say the keyboard that came with my OnePlus Pad, it's actually really nice to have, and I feel like if you're getting the OnePlus Pad, you'll definitely want the keyboard case. Performance-wise, these are actually two of the more powerful tablets out there, but when you're comparing directly, just looking at the Geekbench scores, you'll see the iPad is quite a bit better or more powerful than the OnePlus Pad. Both tablets have 8 gigabytes of RAM. You've got the M1 processor in the iPad Air, Dimensity 9000 processor in the OnePlus Pad. And both tablets feel nice and snappy with plenty of performance to get just about anything done that you would need to, from video editing to multitasking. But yeah, if you want the tablet with better performance, you'll want to go with the iPad. And then when it comes to gaming, I feel like it's actually pretty good on both tablets. If you're looking for a tablet for gaming, these two are pretty good options, and they're going to play games like PUBG Mobile, Asphalt 9, nice and smooth, but sort of the same story with performance. The iPad is going to be a little bit better option when it comes to gaming. Nice thing is speakers on here are nice and loud on both tablets. You've got one on each side for the iPad, two on each side for the OnePlus Pad. The iPad sounds pretty good, but the OnePlus Pad is quite a bit louder and sounds better in person to me. But here's a quick sample of each just to give you an idea of what they sound like.
Tell me what's wrong.
As far as cameras go, you've got a 12 megapixel ultra wide front facing, 12 megapixel on the back for the iPad. Then you've got a 13 megapixel rear facing lens on the OnePlus Pad, 8 megapixel for the front, and then up to 4K 30 frames per second for video recording on the OnePlus Pad. A little bit better at 4K 60 frames per second on the iPad. It might be hard to tell from these samples, but I don't feel like either one of these is quite on par with flagship phones, but there's still going to be decent options for Zoom meetings, video conference calls, that sort of thing. The iPad's going to be a little bit better for photos and video quality, and here's a few samples of each just to give you an idea of what to expect. So hopefully this video gave you a little closer look at the new OnePlus Pad and how it compares to the iPad Air. I feel like for the money, the OnePlus Pad is actually quite a bit better than I was expecting. If you haven't seen my video, I also compared this to the Galaxy Tab S8. You might want to check that video out. I'll also be doing some more comparisons with the OnePlus Pad yet, so you'll definitely want to look out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.